If you're saying that 300-pound bodybuilder complaining is because, oh, poor me, it's not that hard, and it's just because you're on a lot of steroids, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Really? I don't know what I'm talking about. Coach Greg, and today I'm responding to Fouad, James Hollinghead, Ian Valère, and Roman Fritz, who were discussing about being uncomfortable when you eat. This all stemmed from a video I did in response to Machiavelli Motivation, who had Fouad's voice in the background and showing a massive bodybuilder who was shredded, dieting down for competition. Not bulking up, single-digit body fat, peeled, crazy looking amazing. And they're saying you have to be uncomfortable to put on muscle.
If you're bulking, it's going to be uncomfortable. You need to put the food down, and it means for a long period of time so your body can adjust to this new level of calories and grow into it.
And so I want to make sure that people realize that I'm not taking things out of context, that Machiavelli Motivation was the one who chose Fouad's voice and showed that guy, not me, because he's... Anyway, let's just get into it.
Are you uncomfortable when you eat?
I'm eating to the point where I'm almost throwing up.
And so Roman Fritz is 295 pounds and eating to the point where he's about to throw up. Uncomfortable when he eats. And in my video, what did I say? Bodybuilders who are abusing PDs, they have an uncomfortable time eating. They weren't talking about the drugs. When you're natural and trying to put on muscle and you're lean, how many people are uncomfortable when they eat? Eating so much food, forcing food down to the point they want to throw up. Almost none. So when Fouad speaks about bulking up to this point and forcing food down to the point of needing to throw up, he's speaking to professional bodybuilders, 275 pounds plus, not normal people. Normal people who watch Machiavelli Motivation videos and think that they're going to have to eat and force feed to put on muscle. Fouad and I agree. And a lot of people in the comment section said, why don't you have Coach Greg on the channel? And guess what the answer is? He doesn't want me. We were supposed to. That's right. Coach Greg and Fouad were supposed to go on each other's channel and do a video. But Fouad said he can't. You can ask him why he cannot. But he changed his mind, said, no, not going to have Greg on my channel. And I'm not going on his. I don't know why. You can ask him for that reason, but we had actually planned this out. So next time you think I'm unwilling to talk to people or I'm just hiding, I ain't hiding. I literally asked him to be on my channel and he asked me and then he said, I can't. Not sure why. You ask him.
I just saw a Greg Doucette video where he's like, I don't know. He was mocking people that get mocking bodybuilders to say, oh, it's so hard to eat. And I'm like, motherfucker, you're a middleweight.
And he says I was mocking bodybuilders who say they're uncomfortable. Yeah.
Poor me. I'm a bodybuilder and I need to eat a lot of food to build muscles.
I think it's funny, comical. You know what kind of third world problems we have? When your problem is you're too full. It's too hard to get those calories down. Oh, it's so hard being a bodybuilder. I have to eat so much. And I threw out this comparison and said, how many guys in the Tour de France do you think eat less than a professional bodybuilder? They all eat more than professional bodybuilders. And they have to eat while racing a bicycle. You try eating a hamburger while squatting. Between reps, you're literally doing your squats and have to eat. When you're a racer in the Tour de France, you're eating on the bike. It's not hard. Sometimes it's hard to drink water. You're fatigued. It's hard to chew and swallow food when you're racing on a bike for 6 hours up a freaking mountain. But, oh, let's feel bad for professional bodybuilders because they have to swallow chicken breast after chicken breast. Do some research or hire a better coach who can give you foods that you can get down. Not everything has to be plain old chicken, broccoli, and rice. You're allowed to add some nuts in there. Nuts have lots of calories. Peanut butter. The protein shakes, you can add extra calories. It's not hard to add calories to your diet. So even if you are having to force down this food, which cyclists have to do all the time, they find a way. And they're small guys, 140 pounds eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories. Yeah, you're 300 pounds trying to pack on muscle. How many 300-pound men need to eat 8,000 calories to do so? Last I checked, Chris Bumstead, Mr. Olympia, 250 plus pounds of muscle in off season, eating under 5,000 calories a day. And when he's dieting, 1,800. I watched the video, 1,800 calories. And so do you think Chris Bumstead is more miserable in the off season when he has to eat close to 5,000 calories, or when he has 5% body fat eating 1,800 calories a day doing 2 hours of cardio? The real hard part of bodybuilding is not how much you have to eat. That is bullshit. It's when you have to get down to 4% body fat, starving and doing a lot of cardio. But every athlete in every sport has to go through a lot to be the best in the world. And so to complain that, oh my goodness, it is so hard to eat all this food. Really? Cyclists have to do all that while trying not to crash, breaking their arms, elbows, hips, and so on, and racing with broken bones. But I'm a bodybuilder and I need to eat chicken breast. Why don't you eat steak instead? Steak has way more calories. Why are we eating salmon? Why are we putting oil in our food? Why are we adding those calories to make it easier to go down? You're sick and tired of eating plain chicken, broccoli, and rice. And it's not my fault that the Machiavelli motivation video used a guy close to 5% body fat and had a ton of muscle. I didn't show that. He did.
Look, I'm not making fun of 212 guys, but if you've never been trying to push 300 pounds, then you don't know what it's like. So don't talk about it.
So he's not he's not trying to make fun of 212 guys, but calls me a middleweight because I'm a 212 guy. Last I checked, the middleweight category was 176 pounds and under. And frankly, when I was a triathlete, I ate more food than when I was a professional bodybuilder. I'm not making this shit up. I used to do triathlons. I raced bikes. It is hard to eat a lot of food while you're in a bike race. You do not want to eat when you do cardio. I do cardio now, and when it's a hard race, I have a hard time even eating in an hour or two after the bike race. Why? Because I'm exercising so hard, your stomach gets upset, it doesn't want to eat. And so it's harder to eat when you're a bike racer than when you're a bodybuilder. And did I ever bulk up? Yup. I was over 230 pounds, well over 20% body fat, and force feeding to get bigger, not to add bigger muscles, but to get fatter so I could try to bench press a world record. And when I did that, I was on a lot of steroids. In fact, the oral steroids decrease your appetite. And so I don't understand how Fouad is not agreeing with me. How many of you professional bodybuilders out there, or anyone abusing a lot of steroids, a lot of orals, don't notice a decrease in appetite? Do I look like I'm making this shit up? I've competed in 59 bodybuilding competitions, way more than 99% of professional bodybuilders. I've competed, I can walk the walk and talk the talk. And no, I wasn't 300 pounds, I'm 5'6", I'm a freaking manlet. Short guys are not going to eat as much as if you're 6'8". Makes sense. How many guys 5'6" are 300 pounds in the off season? 1 in a million? And so does Machiavelli Motivation's video make sense? Oh, to 1 in a million people. That is some good advice. 1 in a million. My video makes sense to everyone else. 999,999 out of a million people makes sense to listen to me. So if you disagree with me, it's because you're a 1 in a million person that has to do this. But even if you are that 1 in a million, you don't need to complain and whine and, oh, I'm so sad because I have to eat a lot of food. First world problems.
He was targeting pro bodybuilders. He was using.
I didn't watch the video. I saw
he was using imagery of like Michael Krizo and whatever. And
I was using imagery of Michael Krizo because that's the guy that was used in the Machiavelli motivational video. I didn't make that video. Fouad, did you not watch Machiavelli motivation video? I mean, your voice was in it. The entire thing has like 4 million views. You never saw that? I didn't magically twist words. I showed the video that had your voice in it, and he was saying, oh, look at him suffering to eat. Oh, look how hard it is to get the food down. He was eating boring chicken, broccoli, and rice, stuff like that. He was shredded. Single-digit body fat with chesticles, biceps, shoulders. He looked freaking ridiculous. So much muscle. You can't argue with me and say, oh, he was natural. And so why would it be that he is suffering to get all that food down when he's nearly in contest shape? And so answer me this, Fouad. When you are dieting for a competition a week out, 2 weeks out, are you suffering to get the food down, or are you mostly hungry? Are you eating 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day when you're 2 weeks out from a show? Or are you dieting nearly on a starvation diet? And answer me this, when the show is over, when it's done, and you're allowed to eat, is it fun? I've watched you make videos, 15,000 calories in a day, 20,000 calories. So if you can actually eat 15,000 calories in a day, how can it be hard to eat 5,000? Which is it? If you're making videos promoting how much you can eat, how is it hard to eat 5,000 calories? If you can eat 15,000 in a day, how is 7,000 hard?
If you're saying to the average person that you don't have to get uncomfortable to put on muscle, I 100% agree with you.
But Machiavelli's motivation doesn't stipulate if you're a professional bodybuilder on a massive amount of steroids and you're over 275 pounds and you're trying to break through a plateau, you probably have to eat till you're uncomfortable. They don't say that. So those 4 million people who watched that video, how many are professional bodybuilders? 40 of them? So 40 out of 4 million, that is good information. So what about the 3.9 plus million that watch it that aren't pro bodybuilders? They're thinking, well, I'm not putting on all that muscle because I don't force feed. I don't eat so much food. I'm not uncomfortable. I need to put in more rice. I need more chicken breasts. But do you really?
But if you're saying that we're complaining, well, I don't complain anymore because I'm not big, but if you're saying that 300-pound bodybuilder complaining is because, oh, poor me, it's not that hard, and it's just because you're on a lot of steroids, you know what I'm talking about.
Really? I don't know what I'm talking about. I quite literally coached Ian Valère for a year, and I don't remember him eating 7,000 calories ever, off season or on his diet. Never. So why are they saying you need to eat all this food to put on muscle? Ian got a pro card without eating all that food. And could they not at least be honest and say, yeah, you're right. You know, if you take 100 milligrams of Anadrol a day, 150 milligrams, you're probably going to have a decrease in appetite. If you take 100 milligrams of Anavar a day, you're probably not going to be as hungry. Why can't we at least admit these things? Why can't we at least say, you know, the drugs did play an impact on this? When I did up those drugs, it did make it harder for me to eat. When I had a hard time eating, that was what was going on. Taking a lot of drugs, my body fat too high. I didn't build more muscle when I was 230 plus pounds than I was 220. However, I felt a lot more uncomfortable because my body fat percentage was too high. Once you get a certain amount of fat, your ghrelin goes down, your leptin goes up, and you're more satiated. Your body doesn't want you to get fat. When you're dieting down, as any bodybuilder knows, when you're ripped and you're close to contest shape, you're always freaking hungry. Why? Because you're eating a lot less and your body fat is lower. Then after the show's over and you're allowed to eat, it is hard to stop. You want pizza and you want burgers and you want fries and you want all the junk all the time. That's why so many bodybuilders yo-yo diet. They bulk up and then they cut. They bulk up and then they cut. And the reason for that, you can't build a lot of muscle when you're 5% body fat. You have to be at a comfortable body fat percentage where you can build muscle. Maybe for most people, 10, 15, 20% body fat. But if you're 30% body fat and you're on a bulk, what's wrong with you? Where'd you get your information? Oh, I gotta force down those calories. I'm at 30% body fat. I need to get up to 35% so that I can build more muscle. No. That is not going to help.
Your stomach doesn't acclimate at the same rate that your body does. So like, say I'm 275, my appetite at 300 isn't 25 pounds better. Like I'm still just as full at 275 trying to get to 300 as I am at 300 trying to get to 310. You're always just full, you know?
Yeah.
And so Ian is saying when going from 275 to 300, your appetite doesn't increase at the same rate. Well, why is it that a 140-pound cyclist can eat more than Ian and weighs 140 pounds? Why is that? Why can a 140-pound person eat so much? Because they're burning it off. And so how many extra calories do we actually need to build muscle? Well, it takes about 2,750 calories to build a pound of muscle. So if you're in a 100-calorie surplus a day, in a month, you would be able to build 1 pound of muscle. In a year, 10 pounds. So if Ian is trying to gain, say, 10 pounds of muscle in a year, if he were to eat 100 calories a day in surplus, he could build 10 pounds of muscle in a year. So is it really all that hard to eat at a 100 calorie surplus? 100 calorie surplus, 10 pounds of muscle in a year. Is it really that hard to eat 100 calories more than you need to maintain your weight? And so Roman goes over his diet. It's 1,375 grams of carbs, 490 grams of protein, and 140 grams of fat. And so let's just look at the protein. 490 grams of protein, he's 290 pounds. 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight would be plenty to build muscle. Those extra carbs are going to have a protein-sparing effect as well as the fat. And so why does he need to eat 490 grams of protein? Why? Is there any benefit to that? No, the science is quite clear. The research shows you don't need that. And what is protein? Protein is very satiating. It has a higher thermic effect of food. You can't absorb the calories from protein as well as you can from fat. Your body wastes energy, as in heat calories, by eating protein. So why doesn't he lower his protein down and replace it with more fat? Fat has 9 calories per gram, protein carbs 4. By having more fat in his diet and less protein, he would not need to eat as much. He would be able to eat more and be less full. So if you were actually intelligently dieting and eating, you could make it a lot easier on your stomach. Perhaps he wouldn't throw up as much if he lowered some protein down and added more fats. Perhaps instead of eating chicken breasts, he could eat steak and salmon. Does that make sense? Or am I just some old man who's a middleweight bodybuilder who doesn't know what he's talking about? After I've only done 59 competitions, what would I know?
This is a prime example of what we're proving here. Because Roman by no means is fat. He's probably the leanest one of all of us.
And Roman is excessively lean. I've seen this guy many years. He's a shredded guy. Off-season contests, always shredded. And last I looked, Lance Armstrong was quite ripped when he did the Tour de France. And yet he was eating as much as Roman Fritz. Lance Armstrong under 150 pounds, eating as much as Roman Fritz. So where is our logic here? We're still caught up on the fact that we're force feeding and eating all this food, and cyclists who are half their size are doing the same thing. And I've never seen cyclists complain saying, "Oh my goodness, I have to eat so much, poor me." It's the drugs. It's the drugs. Sorry, it's the drugs.
Take Roman's diet. Let's give it to Greg Doucette.
Yeah.
And have him eat it for 2 weeks and then tell us if it's hard or not.
I mean, in his defense, though, he would just get fat eating that, you know?
And Ian is 100% right. If they gave me Roman Fritz's diet and I had to eat it, I would just get fat. Unless I rode my bike 6 hours a day and I'd probably get shredded. And I'd lose weight, and I'd be smaller and still shredded. The calories you need to eat depends on your size and activity level.
Greg, I love you. I know you're going to make a video about this, so cool.
I'm doing this clear in the air, making people understand the true context of what I was talking about. Wasn't trying to misrepresent anything. I was quite literally commenting on Machiavelli motivational video, who used Fouad's audio as part of his video. Fouad was talking about professional bodybuilders trying to go past 275 pounds and so on. Machiavelli motivation video, that's to the world. 4 million viewers. 4 million people watch that video, of which 99% are not professional bodybuilders, and that advice, useless.
I was talking to Jordan, I was like, what can I put in my food to make me get heavier, Jordan? He's like, sunflower seeds. I was like, all right.
Parmesan.
I was throwing sunflower seeds, everything.
And so James Hollinghead is saying, well, I don't know what I can add to my food. And he asked his coach, he's like, sunflower seeds. And so let's quickly add a list. Nuts, oils, salad dressing that's full of fat, ice cream, chips, burgers, steak. There's lots of foods, pretty much everything that the general population wants to eat, all the cheat meals that people talk about. Those are pretty much all going to be high in calories. Anything that's high calorie dense foods. In other words, the opposite of my cookbook. Don't get my cookbook if you're having a hard time eating. My cookbook is for people who are always freaking hungry. You're trying not to be hungry. Get my cookbook. If you want to gain a bunch of weight, avoid the friggin' cookbook. Ending it here. GregDoucette.com for coaching. Greg Doucette, IFBB Pro. Please check out at least one bloop. Also, the harder than last time supplements, including the turkesterone. Please get something if you want. Also, the Circle Diet book, the cookbooks if you're not bulking, coaching plans by me and my team, training books. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, and until next time, I'm out.